Folks, if you can turn your attention toward the cake table, we've got 3 toasts tonight. Toast number 1 from our best man, David. Take it away.
Hello everyone. My name is David Muller, and it's a distinct pleasure to be here with all of you today to celebrate the marriage of Tom and Emily. I'd like to preface this toast with a little story. I got here on Thursday, flew in from San Francisco, had a great flight. Got to the Black Canyon in here and pulled up, took my bags out and settled in. Just kind of took a breather for a bit, and sat back and relaxed. I walked out and I saw the white Suburban pull up. I knew it was Tommy. And right when he parked it, the biggest shooting star I've seen in a couple of years went by, blazing through the sky. And the moment it stopped, the door opened and Tommy came out. It was the golden boy making his entrance. So yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone. I'd like to thank the Horans and the Caldwells for the massive effort they put forth. It's quite obvious that you put a lot of hours in, and I think today it's all come to fruition with a beautiful ceremony, and obviously everyone's having a great time. So, I've known Tommy for quite a while now. We went to college together. And both managed to make our way out here to Colorado. Our love for the mountains and that just guided us out. And he's been a great friend for a long time. I've always honored his character of humbleness, very easygoing and compassionate. Just a really solid friend. And most of all, one of the qualities that Tom has, one that resonates greatly with me, is the value he places on significant experiences in wilderness. Getting out there and being mindful in the mountains, exploring, feeling it with all of his heart, thinking it over on those long walks up the mountain. And I think all these qualities enabled him to charm Emily enough to take them in, and I think she reciprocates them very well and compliments them with a radiant enthusiasm for life and a great wholesomeness that is obviously the product of a wonderful upbringing, a family that taught her not only to accept love, but to offer love. And for that, I'm very thankful. And to be a part of that today. So, well, I was thinking of a little story I could tell, something to maybe sum up something about Tommy and I, and
embarrass him!
I thought about all those days we spent out in the mountains climbing, time on the river fishing, and up on the rocks climbing. Thought about a night we were confronted by a group of drunken midget clowns and somehow managed to avoid a brawl with them. Yeah. I don't know, that night culminated in us trying to release some elephants from a semi, and yeah, all I remember is running and laughing greater than I've ever laughed before. I think we fell down and just kind of looked at the stars for a while. Yeah, the elephants never got out, but we really tried our best. And but really, what it came down to was, you know, every spring Tommy comes down to Silverton where I live, and we get a chance to go out and get some really good powder turns in the majestic San Juan Mountains. Such a great place, and we were sitting back one night. We were just having a couple beers by the fire there, and Tommy looked at me. There was a sparkle in his eye. That shooting star kind of reminded me of it. He said, "Mower, I'm going to ask Emily to marry me." And I saw the commitment in his eyes. I knew the love was true. And it was something that was going to last forever. The next thing he said is, I'm going to have to work all summer to get the money to buy her a ring. But as we can see, it all worked out. And just like to say, it's an honor to be your best man today. I've had a great time, and I wish you two the best together. Prosperity, good health, and may all the rivers of your life together lead to mountains of joy and happiness and well-being.
Next up, our lovely maid of honor, Caroline.
Alright, the bar is high. First, I'd like to thank the Horns for such a lovely evening. And the Caldwells for a lovely rehearsal dinner last night. For those of you I haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Caroline, and I am one of Emily's close friends from college. We met our first week of school in the dorms at Boulder. We went on to share many wonderful experiences through college together, and then after college we were fortunate enough to travel together and live together across the world in New Zealand. So I like to think of myself, can everyone hear me? Yeah. Okay. I like to think of myself as Emily's life partner before she met Tom. And I would like to take this opportunity to pass on some advice from one life partner to the next. So Tom, my first piece of advice for you would be, get ready for a life of moderately reckless, exhilarating adventures. I think the best way to illustrate this point would be to share a little story about the first 24 hours that Emily and I spent in New Zealand together. We flew into Auckland. We got there at about 6 p.m. And we turned to each other and said, you know, we want to be on the other side of this country 2 days from now. I think we're going to need a car. And as you do when you're 2 weeks out of college, we went out to a pub to ponder this very serious problem. And within 2 hours, we met someone that said they were willing to sell us their car, but there was a catch, it was a stick shift. Neither of us knew how to drive a stick shift car. And Emily and I looked at each other, and she said, well, I'll give it a try. And I said, well, that sounds good. So we went out the next morning, and on the wrong side of the car, on the wrong side of the road, halfway across the world, Emily practiced driving a stick shift car for 10 minutes. She looked at me and she said, all right, I'm ready, let's go. And sure enough, 2 days later, we were halfway across the country in our brand new car. And from the time I spent with you guys together, I know that you will embrace wonderful adventures together, from fishing to hiking to skiing. And I think that you are on a level plane with that challenge, Tom, so I'm excited for that. Yay. My second piece of advice is that you should treat Emily like a beautiful, unique flower. By that, I mean to say, you're going to need to feed her and water her because, self-admittedly, she's not always very good at providing those services for herself. And if Emily's ever sort of seeming like she's not quite herself, it's a good question to ask her when the last time she ate a meal or had a drink of water. My third piece of advice is that you need to become accustomed, Tom, to a lifetime of fierce loyalty. because this girl will go to war for you. I remember in college, I had a fight with my college boyfriend. I went over to Emily's sort of weeping and wailing as you do in college when you're fighting with your boyfriend. And she looked at me, little Emily, little 5'1" Emily looked at me and said, well, do you want me to beat him up? And I didn't. I mean, I did, maybe. She didn't. But what ended up happening was that we had a really good laugh, and it was a good reminder of what the true love of a friend felt like. And I think that you guys are well matched in that also. So, I would like to raise a glass to a lifetime of new adventures, wonderful meals, and endless loyalty and love to both of you.
Thank you, Caroline. Next up, we're going to be hearing again from Joe. Joe, our third and final toast.
I don't even know how to follow those two toasts. Those were two following Chuck's toast last night at the rehearsal dinner. It's hard to say where to start, but gotta start somewhere. And I can tell you that this young lady started out as a talkative, inquisitive, and active young lady who, when her mother introduced her to the piano, began to play music. And she has played music ever since, and has made music ever since. She's been music to her mother and to me, and I guess always will be. It's really hard to express, but little girls do grow up into young ladies, and she is here. When she called us, and it's been a few years back, she said, I think I met somebody. What the hell does that mean? I mean, you're not sure? And then she said, well, he wants me to go to a wedding in Rhode Island. And we said, we hope it's not yours. And she said, no, it's a friend of his from college. And we said, well, that's interesting. And then shortly thereafter, she tells us, well, I wrote a song for him. And we said, oh my goodness, something serious is going on here. So, you know, this whole experience has been, and as many of you know who are here, Emily's older brother Will got married just 5 weeks ago today. It's been a wild time, and it's been a wonderful time. And it's been a time for Emily and Ellen to spend time together and grow together, and I even got to participate a little bit. And it's been really, I mean, it's hard to explain, but it's been really incredible, and it's been a wonderful experience. And when we met Tom, you know, we said, okay, so he's your boyfriend, you know? And then Tom catches all these fish. I said, how the hell do you do that? And, you know, you watch people and you watch how they interact, and you see how they feel about each other. And it was pretty quickly clear that Emily and Tom were meant for each other. And they have been just an inspiration, just like Ellen has been an inspiration to me. Will has been an inspiration for Erica. It's really incredible. So, to the two of you, I wish you all the happiness. I wish you to remember a few words which Emily was kind enough to sing last night and has sung before. And those are, love is the truth. So be true to each other. Take care of each other. And love is the light. And when it's cloudy and dark and stormy, look for the light in each other's eyes. And love is the strength you need to take care of each other and hold on to each other and do that. And love is the fire that burns deep in your souls. And don't ever let that fire go out. Love is your life, okay? And love does make you whole. And God bless you both.
Hear, hear.
Thank you, Jeff. Before Tom and Emily go to the cake cutting, they have a few words for us.
Claire Bear. Claire Bear. Claire Bear. There you go.
We just wanted to thank everybody for making the huge travel out here to Colorado and party with all of us. It's just amazing to be with all this, so much love in this room. And it's just, everyone came from across the country. My good friend Jeremiah came from New Zealand. Got people from New York, everywhere, California, it doesn't matter. We love you all, and we thank you so much. We want to thank the parents, doing an amazing job, and the Hornets for having this beautiful party. It's just, it's amazing. That's all I can say. So, thank you very much, and let's party.
Well, everybody gather around the cake. Tom and Emily are just about to cut their wedding cake. Get out your cameras. Dancing is coming up right after this. Once again, a big hand for Tom and Emily on their cake cutting. Yes. Hey, I've got a favor to ask everybody. If you could clear out the whole center of the dance floor.